Hi everyone, this is lecture number 1, Latin America, Geography, Climate, and People, corresponding to roughly pages 439 to 447 of your textbook. Latin America is a massive place, both in terms of geography and its culture. Latin America has historical ties to Spain and Portugal. Spanish and Portuguese are Latin-based languages that are still used in this part of the world today. We'll talk more about why that is later. Central America, South America, and much of the Caribbean all make up what we call Latin America. Latin America includes Middle or Central America in the Northern Hemisphere, as well as much of South America, much of which is located in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a region that covers thousands and thousands of square miles, climate zones, and has many geographic features. Much of Latin America includes landforms like La Cordillera Mountains, and these actually begin in the North American Rockies. These mountains include the Sierra Madre West and the Sierra Madre East ranges in Mexico. Many Caribbean islands are also mountainous. South America includes the Andes Mountains, the tallest in the Western Hemisphere. Much of Latin America sits along the fault lines that are part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, and many areas are prone to volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Recent examples include the Haitian earthquake in 2010, as well as a powerful earthquake in Chile in 2010 as well. There are lowland areas throughout Latin America, including the Amazon basin. It makes up 40% of South America and is the world's largest rainforest. Other lowland areas include the Pampas. Pampas are grassy plains similar to the savannas you learned about during our Africa unit. The diversity of geography of Latin America has contributed to a sense of regionalism even today. Regionalism is a term we use to describe the local customs and traditions that divide groups of people in a country or region. Geography has often made it difficult for people to come into regular contact with each other, and it serves as a barrier to cultural diffusion at times. This is especially true for Latin America. Other barriers to cultural diffusion in Latin America, especially South America, include its rivers and river systems. Only 3 rivers in South America allow for regular transportation. These rivers include the Amazon River, which is 2,300 miles long, the Orinoco River in Venezuela, as well as the Rio de la Plata in between Uruguay and Argentina. These rivers are important in the global trading network, but throughout history it has been difficult to navigate these rivers. We'll talk more about why that is in a bit. In terms of climate, Latin America is a diverse place because of its land area. Latin America is over 5,500 miles long, so it obviously passes through many climate zones and regions. These include frozen lands near Antarctica all the way to the Caribbean. The geographic diversity in Latin America is characterized by 3 main climate types. The first of these is a tropical climate. 75% of Latin America lies in the tropics. Much of this area is covered by dense rainforests like those areas in Brazil. The second climate type is temperate, which is a climate similar to what we might find in the southern United States, with mildly cool winters and very warm summers. Much of Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay have this type of climate. The third type of climate is dry, with arid to semi-arid regions. These places are characterized by little rainfall throughout the year. Dry areas in Latin America include the Baja Peninsula in Mexico, as well as the Patagonia in the southern portion of South America, as well as the Atacama Desert in Chile. All right, well, just as monsoon wind patterns affect life in South Asia and Southeast Asia, there are warm ocean current patterns called El Niño that affect the climates in Latin America every few years. These patterns have a huge impact on ocean ecology and marine life. El Niño also results in increased rainfall to many coastal regions, which leads to flooding, erosion, and human casualties. These current patterns have also been associated with weather events like drought as far away as Australia and Madagascar. So the El Niño patterns continue to affect life in much of Latin America. The main factor in the climate throughout Latin America is elevation, believe it or not. There are 3 zones associated with elevation and climate. There's the Tierra Caliente, or hot land zone, and this zone includes lowlands like the Amazon basin and places where crops like bananas and sugarcane grow. The second zone is the Tierra Templada, or temperate zone. Tierra Templada includes high plateau regions between 3,600 or 6,000 feet, 3,000 and 6,000 feet above sea level. The final climate zone is Tierra Fría, or cold land zones, highlands that are above 6,000 feet. Mexico City and Bogota, Colombia are in this zone. In terms of natural resources, Latin America has quite a bit. One finds gold, silver, copper, tin, and bauxite, from which aluminum is extracted. Some parts of Latin America are rich in oil and natural gas, like Mexico and Venezuela, Bolivia, Ecuador, as well as Colombia. Many crops are grown throughout Latin America, including bananas, sugar, tobacco, coffee, and rubber. Many nations of Latin America are still dependent on these cash crops. Not only is there diversity in Latin America's natural resources and climate, but Latin America also boasts many different types of ethnic groups, so there's ethnic diversity as well. There are Native Americans with origins in Asia from thousands of years ago during the Paleolithic Age. And once Europeans arrived and colonized the region, more ethnic diversity was introduced. There are people with mixed European and Native American ancestry called mestizo. There are also many people with African ethnicity due to the European slave trade from the 15 to 1800s. Additionally, there are people with mixed African, European, and Native American ancestry as well. Geography often determines where these various groups of people live in Latin America. Some countries in Latin America, like Brazil, have tried to encourage people to live in newly created cities in order to reduce crowding in major cities. The city of Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, was created for this purpose. Geography also prevents farming in much of Latin America. Only about 6% of the land can be farmed there. This has led to clear cutting of the rainforest to create more farmland. Although modernization has connected cities throughout Latin America today, geography has also hindered communication and connections between people throughout history. Thanks for listening. Bye.